I saved for 15 years to buy my daughter a house. Then she turned around and gave it to her stepdad. She posted online saying, "This man deserves everything good in life." When I saw those words, my heart stopped. I called her right away, but what she told me made my blood boil. You think money makes you a good dad? Think again. What I did next shocked everyone. Let me tell you the whole story. But first, thank you so much for watching Granny Tales. Your support means everything to us. If you love our stories, please hit that subscribe button. Today's special shout-out goes to Maria Santos from Chicago. Thank you for being such a loyal viewer. Now, let's jump into the story. My name is Robert, and I'm 62 years old. I've been a truck driver for most of my life. Long roads, empty highways, and the hum of diesel engines. That was my world. After my wife left me when our daughter Emma was just 8, I had to work twice as hard. She got full custody, and I got weekend visits. Every paycheck I earned, half went to child support. The other half, I saved it all. I lived in a tiny apartment, drove an old beat-up truck, and ate beans and rice for dinner most nights. But I had a dream. I wanted to give Emma something special when she grew up, something that would show her how much I loved her, even when I couldn't be there every day. My ex-wife Linda made sure Emma knew I was the absent father. She told everyone I cared more about my job than my family. That wasn't true. I worked so much because I wanted to provide for them. Every birthday, every Christmas, every school event I missed because of work. It all hurt, but I kept thinking, one day she'll understand. One day she'll see that I did all this for her. When Emma turned 28, I finally had enough money saved. I found a beautiful 3-bedroom house in Denver, Colorado. It had a big backyard, a cozy kitchen, and even a small garden, perfect for a young woman starting her life. I put the house in Emma's name, but I kept some legal papers that said I could take it back if something went wrong. I didn't plan to use those papers. They were just there for safety. The day I gave Emma the keys, she hugged me so tight. She had tears in her eyes and said, "Dad, this is the most amazing gift anyone has ever given me." For the first time in 20 years, I felt like a good father. I thought we were finally building a real relationship. I was so wrong. Just 2 weeks later, I was scrolling through social media when I saw Emma's post. There was a photo of the house with new decorations outside. The caption read, "So grateful to give this house to the most wonderful man in the world. Thank you for being the dad I always needed." But she wasn't talking about me. She was talking about Steve, her stepdad, the same man who married her mom 5 years after our divorce. The same man who told me at Emma's graduation, "You don't know her like I do." Now he was living in MY House, the house I worked 15 years to buy. I sat there staring at my phone, feeling like someone had punched me in the stomach. The comments under her post made it worse. Her friends were saying things like, "Steve is such a good dad, and you're so lucky to have him." Her mother Linda even commented, "He deserves this and so much more." I felt sick. This wasn't just about the house anymore. This was about erasing me completely from Emma's life story. I didn't sleep that night. I kept thinking about all the times I chose work over spending time with her, all the school plays I missed, all the bedtime stories I couldn't read. But I also thought about the sacrifices I made, the vacations I never took, the new clothes I never bought, the restaurant meals I never had, all so I could save money for her future. And now Steve, who never paid a single dollar for her upbringing, was getting all the credit. The next morning, I called Emma. My hands were shaking as I dialed her number. When she answered, her voice was cheerful, like nothing had happened. "Hi, Dad. What's up?" I took a deep breath and asked, "Emma, can you explain your Facebook post? You gave Steve the house." There was silence for a moment. Then she said, "Dad, Steve has been more of a father to me than you ever were. He was there for my high school graduation, my college struggles, my heartbreaks. Where were you? On the road, making money." Her words cut deep, but I tried to stay calm. "Sweetheart, I worked so hard to give you that house. I saved for 15 years dash." "Money isn't love, Dad," she interrupted. "Steve showed up. He helped me with homework, took me to doctor appointments, walked me through my first heartbreak. You just sent checks. I wanted to explain that those checks paid for her clothes, her food, her school supplies. I wanted to tell her about the nights I cried in truck stops, missing her so much it hurt. But she had already made up her mind about who I was. I can't change the past, I said quietly. But that house was my way of showing you how much I love you. She sighed. Dad, I appreciate the house. I really do. But I needed a father, not a bank account. Steve filled that role, so he deserves this gift. After she hung up, I sat in my kitchen feeling completely lost. I had spent 2 decades thinking that providing for her was the same as loving her. But in her mind, love meant being physically present, not financially supportive. Maybe we were both right in our own ways. That night, I went through old photos of Emma and me. There were pictures from when she was little, before the divorce. She used to sit on my lap, and we'd watch cartoons together. She'd fall asleep against my chest, and I'd carry her to bed. Those were the happiest moments of my life. But after the divorce, those moments became rare. Linda made sure of that. She scheduled Emma's activities during my visitation weekends. She told Emma stories about how I abandoned them. Slowly, Emma started pulling away from me. Our phone calls got shorter. Her hugs felt colder. By the time she was a teenager, I felt like a stranger in her life. I thought if I could just give her something big, something special, she would see how much she meant to me. But I was wrong. The house wasn't a bridge between us. It was just another thing for someone else to take credit for. I spent the next few days thinking about what to do. Part of me wanted to let it go, but another part of me was angry. I had worked so hard for that house. I had sacrificed everything, and now Steve was living there like he earned it. That felt wrong on every level. I called my lawyer, Jim, and told him the whole story. He pulled out the legal documents we had created when I bought the house. Robert, he said, technically, you have the right to reclaim the property. Emma transferred use of the house without your permission. But she's my daughter. I said, if I take legal action, she'll never forgive me. Jim leaned back in his chair. She's already chosen Steve over you. What do you have to lose? That question stayed with me for days. What did I have to lose? Emma clearly didn't see me as her real father anymore. She had publicly humiliated me, given away my gift, and chosen someone else to call Dad. Maybe it was time to stop trying to win her love and start protecting my dignity. A week later, I made the decision. I told Jim to start the legal process to reclaim the house. It wasn't about revenge. It was about self-respect. I had given Emma everything I could, and she threw it back in my face. I wasn't going to let Steve benefit from MY hard work anymore. The first step was sending Emma an official letter. It explained that she had violated the terms of the gift by letting someone else live in the house without permission. The letter gave her 30 days to remove Steve and take back full control of the property, or I would reclaim it legally. I knew this would hurt her, but I was tired of being hurt myself. 3 days after the letter was delivered, my phone started ringing nonstop. First, it was Linda, screaming at me through the phone. How dare you threaten your own daughter? You're a terrible father. Then it was Steve himself. His voice was calm, but I could hear the anger underneath. Robert, this is between you and Emma. Don't drag me into your family drama. I almost laughed. Steve, you've been in my family drama for 20 years. This house was MY gift to MY daughter. You don't belong there. He hung up on me. The next call was from Emma. She was crying, which broke my heart, but I stayed strong. Dad, please don't do this. I know you're upset, but taking away the house won't fix our relationship. Emma, I said softly, I'm not trying to fix our relationship anymore. I'm protecting what's left of my dignity. You made it clear that Steve is your real dad now. Fine, but he doesn't get to live in the house I bought for you. She cried harder. I didn't mean to hurt you, Dad. I was grateful to Steve for being there all these years. I understood her feelings, but understanding didn't make the pain go away. You had every right to be grateful to Steve. I told her, but you didn't have the right to give him my gift. That house represented 15 years of my life. Emma, 15 years of sacrifice and love. and you just handed it over like it meant nothing. She tried to argue, tried to explain, but I had heard enough explanations. The damage was done. When the 30 days were up, Emma hadn't removed Steve from the house. In fact, she had doubled down. She posted another message on social media, this time defending Steve and calling me controlling. She said I was trying to manipulate her with money and that she wouldn't let me bully the people she loved. That post got hundreds of likes and comments supporting her. People who didn't know the full story were calling me names, saying I was a bad father who cared more about property than family. It hurt, but it also made me more determined. If she wanted to make this public, then I would finish it publicly. Jim filed the legal papers to reclaim the house. Within a week, Emma and Steve received an eviction notice. They had 14 days to move out, or the sheriff would remove them. I didn't take any joy in this. It was one of the hardest things I had ever done. But sometimes love means saying enough. Sometimes protecting yourself is more important than keeping the peace. The eviction notice caused an even bigger explosion on social media. Emma posted a photo of the notice with the caption, "This is what happens when a parent uses love as a weapon. My father is literally making me homeless because I chose to honor the man who actually raised me." The comments were brutal. People called me heartless, selfish, and cruel. Some said I was the worst father they had ever heard of, but a few people understood my side. They said Emma had been disrespectful and that actions have consequences. One comment stuck with me. You can't build a relationship on guilt and resentment. Sometimes walking away is the healthiest thing to do. My brother Tom called me that week. He had seen the drama online and wanted to check on me. "Rob, are you sure about this? She's your only daughter." I sighed. "Tom, I've spent 20 years trying to prove I'm a good father. She's made it clear that nothing I do will ever be enough. I'm done begging for her love." Tom was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "You know what? Good for you. You deserve better than this." His support meant more to me than all the criticism from strangers online. The day Emma and Steve moved out, I drove by the house. I didn't stop. I just wanted to see it one more time before going inside. The yard looked neglected, and there was trash by the curb. It made me sad to see the house I had chosen so carefully looking so unloved, but it also reinforced that I had made the right decision. That evening, I got a text message from Emma. It was long and angry, full of accusations and blame. She said I had shown my true colors, that I was petty and vindictive, and that she never wanted to see me again. She said Steve was twice the man I would ever be, and that she was proud to call him Dad. The message ended with, "Congratulations, you got your house back. I hope it keeps you warm at night, because your daughter won't." I read that message 3 times, and with each reading, I felt a little more peace. This was who she really was, someone who could throw away 20 years of sacrifice because I wouldn't let her walk all over me. I deleted the message without responding. 2 weeks later, I went to the house with a cleaning crew. We spent the whole day scrubbing, painting, and fixing small damages. Room by room, I erased the evidence of Emma and Steve's time there. It was therapeutic in a way. I was reclaiming not just the house, but my sense of self-worth. I wasn't the villain in this story, no matter what people said online. I was a father who had loved his daughter the only way he knew how, and who finally said enough when that love was thrown back in his face. I decided to rent the house to a nice young couple. They reminded me of Emma's age, but they appreciated the home and took care of it. Watching them enjoy the space I had created brought me more joy than I expected. They sent me photos of the flowers they planted and invited me to dinner once a month. They became like family to me, the kind of family that appreciated effort and showed gratitude. 6 months after the eviction, Linda called me. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity got the better of me. "Robert," she said, sounding tired, "Emma is struggling. She and Steve broke up." I wasn't surprised. Relationships built on taking from others don't usually last. "She's been asking about you," Linda continued. "I think she might be ready to apologize." I took a deep breath. "Linda, I appreciate you calling, but I'm not interested." Emma made her choice very clear. She chose Steve. She chose to humiliate me publicly, and she chose to cut me out of her life. I have to respect those choices. Linda tried to argue, saying Emma was young and made a mistake. But I had heard enough excuses over the years. She's 28 years old, I said, old enough to own her decisions. After I hung up, I felt surprisingly calm. I had spent so many years hoping for reconciliation, but now I realize that some relationships can't be fixed. Some bridges, once burned, should stay that way. It's been 2 years since then, and it taught me that sometimes the most loving thing you can do is walk away. Emma will always be my daughter, and I will always love her. But I don't have to accept disrespect in the name of that love. I don't have to sacrifice my dignity to prove my devotion. And I don't have to keep trying to build a relationship with someone who sees me as a checkbook rather than a person. The house sits beautifully in Denver, well-maintained and loved. The rent money helps fund my retirement, and knowing it's being appreciated brings me peace. Sometimes I drive by and see the flowers blooming in the garden, the children's toys in the yard, the Christmas lights during the holidays. It has become what I always dreamed it would be, a home filled with love and gratitude, just not in the way I originally imagined. And you know what? That's okay. Life rarely goes according to plan, but sometimes the detours lead you to exactly where you need to be. I'm at peace now. I sleep well at night, knowing I stood up for myself. I wake up each morning grateful for the simple pleasures of my life. I no longer carry the weight of trying to prove myself to someone who had already decided I wasn't enough. The young couple just had their first baby last month. They named him Robert after me. When they told me, I cried tears of joy. Here were people who value my presence in their lives enough to honor me in such a beautiful way. It was the kind of recognition and love I had always wanted from Emma, but I found it in the most unexpected place. Their baby will grow up knowing Uncle Robert, who helped his parents have a beautiful home to start their family in. Maybe I couldn't be the father Emma wanted, but I could be the father figure this little boy needs. Life is a funny way of giving you what you need, even when it's not what you expected. I thought happiness would come from fixing my relationship with Emma. Instead, it came from accepting that some things can't be fixed, and that's okay. I built new relationships based on mutual respect and genuine appreciation. I found peace in my own company, and I discovered that my worth doesn't depend on anyone else's approval. The house in Denver taught me all of this. It was supposed to be a bridge to my daughter's heart, but instead, it became a bridge to my own self-respect. And honestly, that might have been exactly what I needed all along. Every parent wants their child's love and approval, but sometimes the greatest gift you can give yourself is the permission to stop chasing it when it comes at the cost of your dignity. Emma made her choices, and I made mine. We're both living with the consequences, and I believe we're both better off for it. She learned that actions have results, and I learned that my love doesn't have to come with endless second chances. Some people might say I was too harsh, that a father should never give up on his child. But I didn't give up on Emma. I gave up on trying to force a relationship that wasn't meant to be. There's a difference between love and enabling, between support and being taken advantage of. I spent 20 years confusing the two, but I'm clear now. True love sometimes requires tough choices. Sometimes it means saying no. Sometimes it means walking away. And sometimes it means taking back the gifts that were given with love but received with entitlement. The day I signed those eviction papers was the day I chose myself. It was the day I decided that my feelings mattered too, that my sacrifices deserved acknowledgement, and that my boundaries deserved respect. It wasn't easy, and it wasn't pretty, but it was necessary. Some stories don't have happy endings in the traditional sense. This isn't a story about reconciliation or forgiveness. It's a story about self-respect, about knowing when to fight and when to walk away. It's about learning that you can love someone completely and still refuse to be treated poorly by them. The house in Denver stands as a symbol of all of this. Not of failure, but of boundaries. Not of lost love, but of found self-respect. Not of what could have been, but of what needed to be. And every time I see those rent checks in my mailbox, every time I visit that sweet family who calls me Uncle Robert, I'm reminded that I made the right choice. You can't force someone to appreciate your sacrifices. You can't make someone see your love if they're determined to focus on your failures. But you can protect your peace. You can maintain your dignity. And you can build new relationships with people who actually value what you bring to their lives. That's what I did, and I've never been happier. The road was painful, but the destination was worth it. Some of you watching this might be in a similar situation. Maybe you have a child, a spouse, or a friend who takes your generosity for granted. Maybe you've been trying for years to earn someone's love and appreciation, only to be disappointed over and over again. If that's you, I want you to know that it's okay to step back. It's okay to say enough. It's okay to protect your heart, even from the people you love most. Love shouldn't hurt this much. Relationships shouldn't require you to constantly prove your worth. And family shouldn't mean accepting disrespect in silence. You deserve better. You deserve appreciation. You deserve to be valued, not just for what you can provide, but for who you are. Don't be afraid to walk away from people who can't see that. Don't be afraid to reclaim what's yours, whether it's a house, your dignity, or your peace of mind. The people who truly love you will understand your boundaries. The people who don't, well, maybe they don't deserve access to your generosity in the first place. My story with Emma is over, and I'm okay with that. Not because I stopped loving her, but because I finally started loving myself enough to stop accepting less than I deserve. That house in Denver? It's not just a property anymore. It's a reminder that I have value, that my sacrifices meant something, that my love, even if it wasn't appreciated by the person I intended it for, still has worth. And that sometimes the most courageous thing you can do is stop trying to make someone love you the way you love them. I hope Emma finds peace and happiness in her life. I genuinely do. But I also hope she learns that love is a two-way street, that gratitude matters, and that you can't build meaningful relationships by stepping on the people who care about you. As for me, I'm living proof that it's never too late to choose yourself. It's never too late to set boundaries. And it's never too late to find the appreciation and love you deserve, even if it comes from unexpected places. The house in Denver is thriving under the care of people who see it as a blessing, not an entitlement. And I'm thriving too, surrounded by people who value my presence, not just my presence. That's all I ever wanted, to be seen, appreciated, and valued for the effort I put in. I found it eventually, just not where I expected to. Sometimes life works out that way. Sometimes the family you build is better than the family you were born into. Sometimes the love you find is stronger than the love you lost. And sometimes walking away from what's hurting you is the first step toward finding what will heal you. To everyone watching who has ever felt unappreciated, undervalued, or taken for granted, your story doesn't have to end with you accepting that treatment. You have the power to change the narrative. You have the right to demand better. And you have the strength to walk away if better isn't offered. Don't let anyone convince you that setting boundaries makes you the bad guy. Don't let anyone tell you that protecting your peace is selfish. And don't let anyone make you feel guilty for refusing to be a doormat in the name of love. Real love doesn't require you to sacrifice your dignity. Real love doesn't demand that you give everything while receiving nothing. Real love appreciates, acknowledges, and reciprocates. Anything less isn't love at all. It's just taking advantage of someone who loves too much. I used to be that person who loved too much, who gave too much, who forgave too much. But I learned that there's a difference between being loving and being a pushover. There's a difference between being generous and being exploited. And there's a difference between being a good parent and being a human ATM. The day I took back that house was the day I learned those differences. It was the day I stopped being a victim of my own generosity and started being the author of my own story. Your story is still being written too. Maybe today is the day you decide to change the plot. Maybe today is the day you decide that you deserve better. Maybe today is the day you finally choose yourself. If this story helped you in any way, please let me know in the comments. Share your own experiences if you feel comfortable doing so. Sometimes, knowing that others have walked similar paths can give us the courage to take our own first steps. And remember, it's never too late to stand up for yourself. It's never too late to reclaim your worth. And it's never too late to find the love and appreciation you deserve. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for being part of the Granny Tales family. And thank you for understanding that sometimes the most loving thing you can do is say goodbye. Until next time, take care of yourselves, set those boundaries, and never forget your worth. Before I go, I want to leave you with one final thought. The house in Denver taught me that homes are built by people who appreciate them, not by people who feel entitled to them. The same is true for relationships. They're built by people who value each other, not by people who take each other for granted. Choose to surround yourself with people who build you up, who appreciate your efforts, and who celebrate your presence in their lives. Life is too short to spend it trying to convince people of your worth. The right people will see it immediately. The wrong people will never see it, no matter how much you give. Focus your energy on the right people, and let the wrong people figure out their own lives. You'll be amazed at how much happier and more peaceful you become when you stop trying to fix relationships that were broken from the start. The house in Denver is no longer a symbol of what I lost with Emma. It's a symbol of what I gained: self-respect, boundaries, and the knowledge that I deserve to be treated well. That house is loved, appreciated, and cared for by people who see it as the gift it was meant to be. And I am loved, appreciated, and cared for by people who see me as the person I was meant to be. That's all any of us can ask for. Sometimes the greatest victories don't look like what we expected. Sometimes they look like walking away. Sometimes they look like saying no. Sometimes they look like choosing peace over chaos, dignity over drama, and self-respect over acceptance at any cost. My victory looked like taking back a house and finding my worth in the process. What will yours look like? I hope you never have to find out by going through what I went through. But if you do, I hope my story gives you the courage to choose yourself. You are worthy of love, respect, and appreciation. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. And don't settle for less than you deserve, even from the people you love most. Especially from the people you love most. They should be the ones treating you best, not worst. If they can't or won't, then maybe it's time to love yourself enough to walk away. Thank you again for watching Granny Tales. Your support means the world to us, and your comments always brighten our day. If you enjoyed this story, please like the video, share it with someone who might need to hear it, and subscribe for more real-life stories about family, love, loss, and finding your way back to yourself. Remember, your story matters, your feelings are valid, and your boundaries are important. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video. Oh, and one more thing. To that young couple in Denver reading this, thank you for showing me what gratitude looks like. Thank you for making that house a home. And thank you for including me in your beautiful family. Little Robert is lucky to have parents like you, and I'm lucky to know all three of you. You turn what could have been an ending into a beautiful new beginning. That's the power of appreciation, and that's the magic of treating people with kindness. See how different life becomes when you're surrounded by people who value you? That's what I wish for everyone watching this. To find your people, to know your worth, and to never settle for less than you deserve. Life is too precious, and you are too valuable. Don't let anyone treat you otherwise. Take care, everyone. Until next time, this is Granny Tales reminding you that sometimes the best thing you can do for someone is show them the door. And sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself is walk through it. Goodbye for now. And remember, you are enough, you are worthy, and you deserve all the love and respect you give to others. Don't forget that, ever. The world needs more people who know their worth and aren't afraid to demand it. Be one of those people. Your future self will thank you for it. And so will everyone who truly loves you. Because the people who truly love you want you to be happy, respected, and valued. They want you to have boundaries. They want you to choose yourself when necessary. And they'll never ask you to sacrifice your dignity to prove your devotion. Those are the people worth keeping in your life. Everyone else? Well, there's the door. Don't be afraid to show them where it is. Your peace of mind is worth it. The house in Denver will always be special to me, not because of what I hoped it would represent, but because of what it taught me to represent: self-respect, boundaries, and the courage to choose myself when others won't choose me. That's a lesson worth more than any house, any relationship, or any amount of money. It's a lesson that has changed my entire life for the better, and I hope sharing it changes yours too. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for understanding. And thank you for being part of this journey with me. It's been an honor to share my story with you, and I hope it's been helpful to hear it. Take care of yourselves, set those boundaries, and never forget that you deserve to be treated with love and respect. The house in Denver stands as proof that when you value yourself, others will value you too. Have you ever had to choose between keeping peace and keeping your dignity? Sometimes the hardest lesson in life is learning that you can have both. But I'm here to tell you that choosing yourself is always worth it. If this story touched your heart or helped you see your own situation more clearly, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. Like this video if you believe that boundaries are acts of self-love, not selfishness. Subscribe to Granny Tales for more stories about finding strength in difficult times. Your support keeps these important conversations going. Until next time, remember that your worth is not negotiable, and neither should your boundaries be. Take care and see you soon.